Well, good evening, folks. Another fine evening it is. This is Papa D coming to you this evening again from Central Florida. Episode number 15, I believe we're at. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. And boy, is there a lot to talk about. Seems like we say that every night or every episode. But, good Lord, the nuts are falling out of the trees. And it's not even spring. But have a lot to talk about tonight. But before we start, and I bring Angela in, who is standing by, stage right. A little something I want to show you real quick. And as my puppy dog decides she wants to come in and visit, she don't want to talk politics, that's for sure. She wants to talk cookies. But a little something I want you to hear. We'll start this night rolling.
A speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable, and it's
All right. Here we go. A little bit miscue on that button. But, yeah, that was our Commander-in-Chief. And I know those of you that tune into us, those of you that are possibly new, have seen this little clip. And this was a call-in that the president did from his office. And at the same time, the big rally was going on out his front door with about 75,000 people cheering on the person whom is running for president in his stead. So we will talk about that a little bit, and we'll also talk about the issues that are being caused with respect to online ability and access to this information. You can see a video that I made this afternoon with a problem that I ran into. Seems like the mainstream media and everyone aside of that is trying to keep a lid on it. But we'll talk more about that, including the polls, including this evening our future president rolling up to the Wisconsin rally, there was a garbage truck there, my understanding. So I know my daughter will have something about that. But with no further ado, we got a lot to talk about, a lot of good stuff, a lot of exciting things, and a few distressing things. And we'll try to hit those for you all tonight. And with that, let's see if we can, through the magic of streaming, find a lovely young lady that would be willing to talk politics with me tonight. Let's push this button. Hello?
Can you hear me?
We got you. I found you.
All
How you
right.
doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. It's not bad, all things considered.
All things considered, yeah. Been an interesting, well, we've only been out for a couple of days now, and here we are again. 6 days from the big day, from the big dance. And a whole lot happening. Understatement
Ain't that the damn
of
truth.
the week. We'll get
I
more
can
meat
barely
potatoes
keep up
into
at this point. There's just constant stuff. I mean, even with what I sent you about the garbage truck thing, Dad, like, I mean, just rapid fire, you miss a beat and you're missing a whole, load of stuff you got to get caught up on. But I mean, oh my gosh, it's off the rails, really.
Well, it's getting for political season, for the political race, for the importance of it. It's turned into a mudslinging, nasty, more than I've ever seen. And I've been on this planet for more than a few years and seen a few elections. It's disturbing,
Right.
and it's very distressing. And as Angie will attest to, after my run around this afternoon being unable to post a simple video and a simple, what I consider to be a simple 15-second op-ed. I pretty much lost my mind for about 2 hours because this is not the way this country's supposed to be.
No.
When I joke and I say, well, we have freedom of speech as far as we know today, it's getting serious as a heart attack. What people say depends on what side of the aisle you're on. What they get away with will be covered by only those who need to or have to. It's tough to get it. And here we are just trying to get a straight answer out of the other party with respect to what they plan on doing. If in fact bad things happen and they get the White House again. And we have all of the supporters, 50% of the country being called Nazis, murderers, and garbage.
Oh yeah, scum, deplorables.
Yeah. Well, what does that have to do, or what does that do other than divide this nation even further than it already is? And this is by a party who is standing for bringing the country together, bringing people together.
Mm-hmm.
They just further divide it, further alienate, and anger the half of the population. We cannot have a debate. We can't even try to come to a common ground anymore. And this is just one more example. And Angie and I have talked a little bit too about, this. Is this the October surprise? Is this one of the October surprises? I've got my opinion. We have our opinion about that. I'll let Angie touch on that. But we do feel that might be a little payback from the House of Joe. We'll go from there. But
I have my suspicions. I will lay out the facts and let you guys really decide how that looks to you.
Absolutely. We aren't going to tell you what to think, unlike some people in the world.
You can have whatever choice you want to make and whatever opinion you want. That is A-okay by me, but at least know all the facts.
It's like Dr. Phil said the other night. If you want to vote for the other side, I'll still love you. I don't respect you.
Right, absolutely.
I think you're wrong, or I think you're misinformed, or maybe you haven't dug deep enough. But you're still a member of the society. You're still someone who should be given respect, even though we won't get the respect back. But we will give respect as best we can. But there's a whole storyline behind that. And when I mentioned that in the beginning, it's kind of tough to look out your front window and see the person who basically stole the job from you or is trying to steal the job from you. Under a manufactured coup, in our humble opinion, with all those people at a rally and you're watching at the front door to a party you weren't even invited to, it's got to be tough to swallow, whether you like the man or not. That sucks. That just sucks.
Oh yeah.
So I am sorry to him about that, but I'm not sorry in how I feel about the remarks he made about me and 150 million other patriots. So, Angie, we're going to just go ahead and give our thanks first to everybody. And we'll start off to telling everybody they need to subscribe, do all that, because it's going to get deep in stuff fast. But,
yeah,
we want to thank Madness Productions for the bumper music, as always. It's on the channel if you want to check in with them. Matt over there does a great job and would be someone you'd want to contact if you need intro, outro, and any kind of other intro music on your channel or website. Give him a call. That's Madness Productions. I want to thank everybody from Real Clear Politics, Real Clear Polling, and everybody that we pull all this data down from. We thank them for their hard work. We thank the subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, what should happen, Angie?
Hit that subscribe button.
Ding, ding, ding.
Don't
ding,
hesitate.
Ding,
It's free.
It's free. Do it now. Why waste time?
Right. Don't wait till the end of the video. Just go ahead. You're going to want to stick around. You're coming back. Come on.
If you watch, you're going to watch the whole video. You're going to be entertained. You're going to be well informed, and at the end, you won't have to go, man. Now I got to go back and remember to ring that bell and push that button. I could have. I should have subscribed. My God, what great people. What great Americans.
Telling you, you won't regret it. It's a good time.
You won't regret it. And you know what? We'll have a buy one free sale. You know, subscribe once, get a second one for nothing.
Heck yeah. Can't
Why
beat
not?
that. We're all about a good deal.
What a deal. In this economy, as bad as it is, a free subscription to a well-informed website or a YouTube channel, my goodness.
It's
What more
worth its
can I
weight
give
in
you?
gold. It's the gift that really keeps on giving, you guys.
It is better than the Fruit of the Month Club or the Jelly of the Month Club.
Right. This takes
And you-
no effort.
And you don't have to go down Holiday Road to get it. And that's as close to that as we
Right.
can get without getting YouTube slapping me on the head for the third time today.
Ugh,
I digress.
shouldn't have been
I
at all,
digress.
but we'll get to that.
We'll get there. So thanks, guys. And please subscribe. Please message us. Please talk to us. It's getting better and better every week, and we appreciate every one of you that take the time to spend with us. With no further ado, Angela, kick it off with the... Let's go with the high point first. Let's start with good stuff.
Okay.
What has transpired in the last 48 hours with respect to the colors on that big map that everybody keeps showing, or the perspective
Oh.
colors? It's
Okay,
blue,
well-
it's pink, it's red.
It's
girl.
kind of looking more pinkish red. I gotta admit it to you guys.
Damn.
Which is it's a good thing. Not so much if you're a Harris fan. That's okay. We still appreciate you following along. All right, so
That was a joke. Sorry, bye.
oh, okay. I was like, Dad, are you okay? Okay, so nationally, they are within less than a point percentage difference of each other. So it's pretty much neck and neck. Projected win, still Trump, but it's gone up a percentage point. So 2 days ago it was 66%. Now we're looking at 67%. So we have said this in the past. I'm going to repeat it again for everybody that's new. If you keep trying to tear down the man, he's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps on going. There's no end in sight, and he's not going to stop campaigning until election day. He will be
Now,
campaigning.
he's like a Tesla
on election
battery
day.
that doesn't catch on fire. It just
Right.
keeps going.
It's incredible. It's for his age. It's just miraculous. So right
He's
now,
tired, right?
he's
Sure.
yeah, something like that. He's tired of some stuff. I'll say that. He's still projected at least 85% or higher to win Arizona, North Carolina, Nevada, and Georgia now. Team Harris has completely pulled money out and ads out of North Carolina and Nevada, so they gave up. They're done trying to fight for Nevada and North Carolina. They know they're not going to win it.
They done rolled over.
Yeah, and we see the results coming in with early voting as well. This is polling and early voting. So he's going to take all four of those. Here's where it gets interesting. Pennsylvania is one of those that they cannot really count the actual mail-in ballots until election day. Same with Michigan. So what they're going on with early voting is mainly the percentage of voters who are coming out that have voted that way in the past elections. So they're taking past data and saying, okay, well, this person, 3 of the last 3 elections has voted Democrat. So they're a typical Democrat voter, and we're going to count the fact that they voted early.
Okay, Angie, we've got a lockup there, I guess. Might have lost our connection with Angie. All right. Tell you what we're going to do. Just in case we have a comeback here, we're going to split back over. And I'm going to... She is still froze up. What we're going to do, we're just going to stand by here. I think she may be trying to dial back in. Let me just do a little magic here for her. But as she was saying, the polls are swinging rapidly. Let me do a quick something here real quick. Try to get her back on board with us. All right. And we'll see if we can get her back in here just a second. But this does happen. But talking about the money being pulled out, and that's happened in the two of the swing states, and we can see that things are starting to roll over a little bit. I think Andrew's also getting ready to head towards Georgia, and there's some crazy things happening down there also. Trying not to steal all of her thunder because she's got her side all rolled together here. And I don't have her back in here yet, so she may have lost her network feed. Yeah, this is live. Guys, this is live streaming here, so let me see if I can... All right, I know she's working on getting that connection back up. But anyway, we'll keep on going here. I'm standing by, Angie. If you can hear through the feed, we'll have the line open. So if you want to, I just sent you another connection link. You can try to dial back in as soon as you get a chance. Let me know if something else is going on that I haven't been able to see yet. But right now, nationally, the numbers are tight, and they're certainly within a point. The overall national Trump versus Harris is showing right now at about 48.4 to 48%. And we've got Trump plus 0.4. You've got Trump plus 1 on the battlegrounds with a 48.6 to 47.6. So we've got some tight races all across the board. Now, depending on who you talk to and who you listen to, we can be told that the races are tighter than they actually are. When you go to Real Clear Politics, and there's many pollsters out there that are breaking these things down, and you get into, as Angie was saying before we lost the connection, you're looking at states like Pennsylvania, as in all states, you can get a feel for what the early voting is all about, but you can't tell, depending on the state, where it stands. And unfortunately, Pennsylvania is one of those ones that would be hard to get a thumb on. But right now, everything is looking all right. I'm just going to send a... All right. Angie's in the process of rebooting things. Her system went down on her for some reason, so she'll be back with us momentarily. But as I was saying, in Pennsylvania, it's a completely rough... it's a guess for anything else, because you can only take historical information, historical values, and say that's how they voted before. Odds are this is how they're voting now. But the registrations right now are dramatically going up, and the Republican registrations have been dramatically increasing. So you have to play all that in, add that into the pie to get a number. Now, one of the big things that I saw, and I know this is probably on Angie's plate to talk about, in looking at the key issues are always going to be the big three key issues. And those are the three issues that have been dodged by the other party. The economy, border security. The border security being number one, and you know, depending on which poll you got, they're number one and number two with the economy. But when you look at the job approval numbers, and you have to go by, of course, President Biden's, because he is the sitting president, you're talking about a disapproval rating about 16 to 20 points higher than one would expect, and about 56% disapproval rating. Now, Kamala, being the vice president, she owns, whether she likes it or not, she owns that last 3.5 years. So those numbers are key to following where everything is going. Another thing that I want to jump in on, and again, I'm going through my notes and kind of what I was scripting out not wanting to interfere with what Angie had as far as what she had to go over with us. And I'm bouncing around a little bit, but the 2024 congressional vote right now is positively running towards the Republicans. Now, this is important. You know, if and when our president wins the election, we have to hope and pray that everything runs downstream to the House and the Senate. And there are a lot of candidates right now, one of which is in Pennsylvania. The Republican Senate candidate is running about a point off from Casey, which is astounding. And we can hopefully look forward to a House and a Senate that will be able to pick up room and be able to assist in the whole process if we can sweep this thing as we anticipate we have a chance at. I wanted to run back through some of the individual polls, and Georgia being one of them. Right now, and again, this is using Real Clear, that in Georgia, right now we have about Trump at plus 2.4%, about 49.3%. Depending on who you talk to, depending on what pollster you talk to, depending on who you're getting your information from, it's pretty clear that on the ability to win this election, Georgia is a key takeaway. And right now, at plus 2.4, and again, you have to keep in perspective. When we throw these numbers at you guys, Trump never polls very well. And there's a lot of reasons for that, depending on who the polling agency is, you know, how they're putting their data through, where they're polling, how they're polling. It all matters. And also, if you're a more liberal-leaning, excuse me, polling pollster, that all plays into it. So we believe anyway. Yes, Sam, I'm just trying to get some information to reconnect Angie. But if Trump is historically and has historically not polled well, and you're still up 2.5%, with early voting being the way it is, and with the registrations of Republicans being heavier than they've ever been, you have to play in those numbers are going to be even greater. Also, when you look at numbers coming out of Arizona, we lost Arizona in 2020. And right now, we have Trump versus Harris at Trump plus 2.5 at 49.5 in Arizona. Certainly going to help in the governor's race there also. So a lot in play there. I'm going to go across to a couple of numbers that I was looking at, and I'm hoping I'm not stepping too hard on where Angie was going to come from once she gets back online. Nevada right now is a nail-biter, and it historically would not be. I heard one of the analysts today talking about Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, and you're talking about where, I think he said something to paraphrase, where Arizona goes, New Mexico follows, or the same in the same bailiwick. But we've got a race in Nevada, I don't think, that I personally didn't expect. And right now, Trump is showing through a Real Clear, and again, thank you to them for their data. We are showing Trump up about a half a point at 48-47. Now, all these numbers, guys, are well within the margin of error if you take it for what it's worth. Just trying to reach out. And Angie will be back with us hopefully shortly. She's got some network problems up there in Tennessee. Maybe somebody didn't like the conversation. I don't know. We don't wear tin hats around here, though. But with all these races being so tight, we are looking at again, depending on who you talk to, each candidate has multiple routes to be able to get to the White House. Now, for Trump, in my opinion, he takes Georgia, he takes North Carolina, he's going to take Ohio, he takes Pennsylvania, which right now is everything is trending out. This thing's over, and it's over early. But we don't know, and we won't know what's happened, how it's happened, or what the shenanigans are for a while. Angie and I have a little side bet about when we believe the results will be in. I know I've said before midnight. She has a different number. We'll let her give that to you once she gets back online. But, you look at this, and however you cut it, the pollsters have this as a very tight race. But when you dig into the numbers, when you dig into the analysis, when you dig into early voter registrations, you don't just rely on straight-up polls, which have historically never been very well, except for a select few. And with a candidate like Trump that doesn't poll as well as others, and if you need just more information about how that works, think back to 2016. Leading up to the election, Hillary was up, I want to say the numbers were somewhere in the area of 8%. 8 points, 6 to 8 points. And as these returns came in and flipping of states started happening, that's how fast this thing turned and history was made. So take the polls for what they are. It is a tight race. There's no doubt about it. We're never going to deny it's a tough race. But it's a lot. It's not as tight as one would believe when you get deep into the numbers. And I think there's going to be some things happening that will surprise some out there, but not surprise some of us. Now, the one thing I want to caution everybody about, take a few minutes here to discuss kind of the meat and potatoes of what happened this afternoon, and I've been hearing more about this online from other commentators. We have to be careful to not lower ourselves down to the level at which we are being drug into the gutter. I think, and I know, this is not a thinking thing, it's a knowing. When the mud starts to sling the way it is, when the lies start to be flying around like this, that is a desperation move. When someone is in a pool and they're drowning, they'll flail their arms around and grab somebody and try to drag them down with them. Not exactly the same, but you get it. The Democratic Party right now is in turmoil. No matter what they've thrown at Donald J. Trump, as Angie said, he comes back swinging and stronger. And the movement and the people backing, getting this country back on a firm footing and back where it was, it gets stronger and stronger and grows bigger and bigger. The last couple of days, been a lot of mudslinging going on. They just keep harping on the Nazi thing. They keep harping on all this stuff. And at the end of the day, we all know it's not true. We all know who we are. We all know why we back who we back. The polls are starting to look at a reflection of what truly is out there and has been out there. We've known for quite some time. Don't allow yourself to be drugged down into that gutter, though. We need to just stay the course as a party. Get out and vote. Anybody that is registered that has not voted, and bear with me here because I've got to create a new link here. I think we have Angie back. 1, 2, 3. Buckle my shoe. And 1, 2, 3. Almost got you, Angie. And Let's see
Can
what
you
we
hear
got. Angie, I got you.
Oh, sorry guys. Weird random internet outage for like 10 minutes. I don't know, but we're back.
It's
We're
okay.
good. Whew.
It happens. I told everyone that it was. I don't wear the tin hat here anymore often this week, but somebody probably didn't like what we were talking about, and they got to your internet. We're gonna blame it on that.
Could be. Who the hell knows? Because we're not in an outage and we're up to date on our bill. So I don't know. I don't know.
What did cousin? What's
Who
his
knows?
name on vacation movie? I don't know. I
Uh,
don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
ah.
where I was, Ange, I was filling in for where my notes and my thought process was. I had just gone through talking a little bit about the swing states and really keying on the western states. I was going through Nevada, Arizona, with the exception I touched on Georgia a little bit, where the numbers were, the tight race, kind of giving everybody the update on that, and cautioning everyone to understand the polls are the polls. The polls are tight, but it all depends how you look at it. Trump doesn't poll well, and this is where we're at now. But the
That is true.
overall map is turning more red as the hours go by. And I did touch a little bit on. I know you probably were going to touch on this also. I didn't want to steal all your thunder, but the Arizona race becoming what it's become, surprising a lot of people that it's flipping back to where it belongs, and then that will help the governor's race out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Expectation
Absolutely.
is, and hopefully she has the ability to, because I know she's a little bit behind, but that's even turning because of the presidential numbers right now.
Right. And she has spoken at a couple of different rallies with Trump. So, putting herself in those arenas where she's able to reach as many people in those areas as possible, I think has really helped her in this last half leading up to Election Day. So, yeah, I think that's really what's turned the page for Arizona.
Absolutely. And I think she's right now at a point back, which is well within the margin and well better off than she was even a week ago. So that's a pretty phenomenal byproduct. And of course, I did talk, a little bit about the House and the Senate. There's the Senate race in Pennsylvania. Trying to that's hopefully getting ready to flip, which would be an amazing feat by itself.
I think that they are going to see numbers that even in previous elections haven't been seen for specifically for Pennsylvania. They have ignited a fire under these people that
I agree.
we have not seen in that state in a really, really, really long time. And these people are starting to wake up more and more every day. Because like you said, when it starts hitting the pocketbook, that's when people start waking up and they're like, okay, something's not right. Like what they're telling me versus what I'm living every day are not adding up. And so maybe this guy isn't wrong. Maybe I should check him out, and they gave Trump a chance. And that's all it takes is just to open yourself up to the possibility that there is something else out there other than oppression and being broke.
That's right. I mean, the people in Pennsylvania have been getting hammered. They're getting hammered. They're going to get hammered even worse if this administration continues on. And yeah, I think once people realized you can only hear someone cry wolf so many times, and you can only be called a Nazi and everything else under the sun so many times. And then he gets called, you notice they don't call him a felon anymore because that's all about to get turned over on the appeals court, which we knew would happen. You only hear
and
this so much.
It didn't really have the gusto that they were expecting it to have, though, really. Yeah. I mean, people did not turn on Trump, so they had to, go deeper and more evil, and just the craziness got crazier, but...
Yep. And people finally figured out that, you know what, the man's not what they say he is.
Right.
And I think the things like most recently, Rogan and
Oh yeah.
other interviews that have made people understand this man is a smart man. He's not a politician, so why expect him to act and speak like a politician? He loves his country. He loves his
Right.
family. He's a father. He's a grandfather. The 3 hours on the Rogan show, I mean, it was like talking to one of the guys.
Like
but
you
a
were
guy
at
that
dinner with a
cares.
buddy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And people are finding out that, wow, maybe this bull we got fed all this time was just all political slapping around and slander, which is all it was. As the court cases get thrown back, and I understand that the New York Attorney General name escapes me right now, but they're talking about the possibility of her being disbarred over this case.
That wouldn't surprise me. I think the fallout after the election, everybody on the Democratic side is so worried that it's going to be the diehard MAGA Republicans that are going to, go batshit crazy and they're going to start all these things. But really, and I have not seen people talk about this, but I've thought about this so much today, Dad. And I really think it's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be an implosion from within the party itself. So they're going to be going after each other
They'll be
like
feeding
rabid
themselves.
dogs because nobody wants to take the fault for how bad it's going to look after the dust settles and, for whatever better or worse on
Absolutely.
November 6th.
You know what the polls are doing on some of the other networks. We're not going to mention the names, but the alphabet networks. Some of them begin with C's and A's, and pick your network.
And M's.
They're all the polls, and if you watch and we try to watch a little bit of all these to get a feel for what they're saying, what they're thinking, where they're going. They're being a whole lot less optimistic than they once were. And even some of them, like the one that starts with a starts with a C and ends with an N, they're mentioning. They're not mentioning. They're talking about Trump in a much softer way than they have in a very long time. And actually, I think what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing is the networks hedging their bets because they know deep down how this thing's going to go.
Right.
Nobody wants to look bad. Nobody wants their pollsters to look bad. So,
well, their networks are already doing terrible in the ratings as it is. So they're kind of like, if we want a job in December, we better backpedal now because if not, they're going to cancel every single one of us.
Yeah, don't be off that far at the end, right before the election. So if you guys are way out here, you got, Harris and Trump, man, they're out two ends of the spectrum. Numbers are man, she's going to walk away with this. Now all of a sudden, even they're admitting how tight these races are. They're even admitting who's got the momentum right now. When these networks are talking in those terms, well, what that is say, well, if she pulls it out, we'll still be good. We can save face for that. And if she doesn't, we can still save face because we changed our tune as to how tight this race was and where everybody stood. One thing they're not slowing down on is the negative rhetoric and the things that probably got the man shot at. And that's just ratcheted up because that's what they do. But when you look at the poll numbers, and that's why you can't place a lot of assurance on these poll numbers, just pure out poll numbers.
No, especially this close because they're not going to be polling as hard anymore, especially with it within a week. And I have seen Ben Shapiro did mention this, and I have seen it where the polls are inching closer and closer to a dead heat, especially in the swing states, because they cannot verify through any recent polling. They just aren't able to poll this close to the election. So they're kind of like going Switzerland where they're just, okay, well, it could go either way,
exactly.
Doing one of those.
And that's what I was just saying. If you have it to where you got everybody laying right next to each other, well, it's easy to say, yep, we called that one, irregardless of which way it goes. it's like me saying, I'll bet you if I flip a coin, it's gonna, I'll bet you $100 it's either gonna be heads or tails. Want to bet me? Well, I bet you, one or the other's gonna win in next Tuesday. I bet you.
Right.
So, these guys, all they want to do, they're like, the newspapers used to be in the old days. Now the TV does it with digital. You just have everybody being a winner. All you got to do is flip a switch and say, see, told you we were right. Got
We
that
called
one.
it.
Ooh, shook the table. Earthquake. There we go.
Oh. Don't worry. My computer and I had some words during my intermission.
Don't upset her too much. You still need her. It happens.
She's a good
Believe me.
computer.
I was doing a stream earlier for the launch here. We had lunch out of the Cape around 5 o'clock. And a minute before launch, my streaming system just took a dump and turned into a
I felt so
fire.
bad.
So I had to be creative. But it happens. Throwing stuff against the wall just puts a dent in the wall. But with that being said,
it didn't get to that. But
yeah,
it's okay.
It's all good. The rocket still got off, and I still put it out there. So, but anyway, that's where we are right now. I think when you look at the network polling, I'm looking at Real Clear now, and I mean, there's still a whole lot of data that's showing blue on certain states, and
right.
This is data that's just, for lack of a better way, I would put it as being just mush, because, as you said,
Well,
Ange,
yeah.
they're just not getting the polling accurate data they need, nor is the time involved, time remaining,
Right.
to give it accurate. I don't want to say it's not accurate, but
The most accurate, up to date
today
information. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they have been mentioning this. Certain networks, I won't mention which ones, but that everybody thought people were crazy when they started talking about New Hampshire is in play and New York. Oh yes, it is, and the Democratic percentage for early voting went down a whole point today in New Hampshire. So, I have a big feeling. I'm not saying yes or no that New York will flip red, because that is a massive undertaking. Okay, that is a metropolis nightmare that they did not campaign that hard in New York because there's just no need to waste the money. But once everything started to turn the tide, like about a month ago, it became clear that there's a huge following for Trump in the Tri-Cities. People love him. People are seeing things with their own eyes. They're traveling on the subways. They're seeing all the storefronts that have shut down or that can't stay open past a certain time. I've heard a lot of that too. It's not a pretty sight. It's not somewhere that people want to keep their businesses, keep living there. They're losing tax dollar money. So I think a lot of that's weighing on these northern states, and they're finally saying, okay, you know what? Enough's enough. Enough is enough. So I think election night, we are going to see early on a very interesting turn of events that no one really even anticipated 6 months ago even being a possibility. But when you factor in when you factor in everything that's happened in the last 48 hours, I think it makes it painfully obvious that the campaign that has been so proudly promoting unity amongst Americans just showed its true colors, and we need to vote accordingly. Period. The end. Period. If you love America, you are not voting for that. I'm telling you right now.
That's what I was saying earlier when you were off the air. It's a pure sign of desperation. This is like someone that's drowning in a pool that's grabbing out to kill their neighbor, not intentionally, but to drag them down with them. They're not going to drag the party down with them, but they're going to slam and throw for that Hail Mary as best they can, and that's all they've got. Right. And all that does is foster more resentment, and then you get more people that say, independent voters, people in the middle that still maybe have not made their mind up, or those who have not gone and cast the ballot yet. who would look at that and go, when can we talk about, how you're going to pay for this, all these programs, and not raise taxes by $4 trillion? Or, what are you going to? You talk about fixing the border. Well, you haven't done it in 3.5 years. What are you going to do? What's your next plan? Instead of flipping the switch into a word salad and a discussion about your mother buying her first home when she was late in life and being middle class and all that.
Oh my gosh.
Or that's it's one of two pat answers, that or Trump's a fascist. No matter what you ask her, that's the direction it goes. People are starting to go, where's the answers to the things that are going to fix this country, that are going to help me get through the week?
Something. Right.
So groceries aren't going to cost me 50% or 75% more than they did. I mean, last year, and going up on a weekly basis. People are hurting, and now they're looking for answers. At one point, Jersey went Republican many years ago when Chris Christie became the governor. New York flipped, if I'm not mistaken. The last time it flipped was Reagan. So that'd be 1980.
Yeah.
That was when the blue wall fell. So it is something that can happen, and when people realize that, the northern states, they're getting hammered enough by their own states, from a tax standpoint, an expense standpoint, and all that.
Right.
At the very top, the Fed's not helping the cause at all, and it all starts, at the top, and as the president had indicated, it starts with energy. And these are all things that they're just going to make more difficult and make it all to where people will all be waiting in line at the food lines if things continue on this track. And irrespective of what part of the country you're in or what you believe, how your family's voted all this years and all that, all generations, you got to vote with what's hurting you. And people have been, I think, hurt enough. And you're absolutely right. You've got to wake up and say, we stop it here. Now, would I love to see New York flip? Oh my God! Talk about.
Oh, I would just jump out of my chair with absolute joy if that happened.
But that's a tough one, no doubt about it.
And
but New York is
could
been this close in years.
Right. He's within 10 points of New York right now, and this is better than he was doing against Biden in 2020. And against Hillary in 2016. So if people show up on voting day, and I've heard this said before, and it's the God's honest truth, I don't care what the weather is. Pouring rain, freezing cold, windy, whatever. I don't care. Bring a snack. There's no excuse. If you have young children at home, start making that plan now. You got a little less than a week. Get some sitter situation lined up, okay, for an hour or two. Yeah. Go down there and vote. Take your kids with you. Teach them about politics while you're in line. Get the whole family involved, but make sure there is not a single thing, there is not a single obstacle keeping you from exercising your God-given right as an American. And this is the election that if you are ever going to vote, make sure it's this one. I don't care if you've never voted before and you're in your 60s. Get out and make it happen, okay? It's okay.
Take the kids with you. Stop off and get yourself some McTrump fries.
Right. Get a little McDonald's pick-me-up.
That's why voting early, and that's why the party has been so adamant and doing a very good job of it. Better than they've ever done before. But same thing. Get out there and vote early. You got another, you got this week leading up to the election next week, and if you can, get out there and vote early. It'll save you a lot of time, save you a lot of trouble, and plus put your mind at ease that you're done and that your selection is in the box, so to speak, or in the can, in the event that there are issues. Because I'm going to tell you what, Election Day, going to be crazy house. You're going to have people lined up for a very long time, depending on what part of the country you're in. And it is going to be crazy house.
I'm lucky. In my area, we're already at 65% Republican, so my state is absolutely going to be flowing red. And typically in my state, it's not long lines on Election Day, but you never know. I prefer to go on election day because it's the thrill for me.
Yeah.
I know that's not for everybody, but just make sure that you, however you need to do it, that you get that vote in and
Just do it.
make your voice heard. It's so important. Um, you will be so excited to know that you, just by clicking that button or filling in that little circle, you made the difference to elect the person that you felt most strongly for, and that's a really proud feeling.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
wearing
urge
that
you
sticker
to.
is a big thing. I wear it with pride.
Oh yeah.
I wear it with pride every election. Not just the presidential elections. We vote in
Oh
every
yeah,
election,
midterms
and
too.
that's it's a good feeling to walk out of there with that on your chest, knowing that you did what you are supposed to do and what people fought and died for years, many years,
Right.
many wars, and you get the chance to do this and take advantage of it. So get out there and do it. And this year matters more than any.
So
As
much.
Angie said,
So much.
if you registered and you're still like, oh, please do not get complacent to the point where you go, well, everybody's saying that they got this. They'd be
Mm-mm.
fine. They don't need my vote.
It's
It's
one of
only one
those.
vote.
Right. It's one of those. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. It's one of those. Okay. So
Yep.
even in the long hours of counting, it could really change so fast. We've seen it happen in years past. We saw it happen last year, unfortunately, for various different circumstances. But this year, they've really been keeping up with the voter rolls, which I'm super impressed by. I have to tell you, Dad, like they have been on top of it every day, all of these
Yep.
swing states. And it's great to see because we should be able to say, hey, this doesn't look
Mhm.
okay, or these people vote, this one person voted 30 times. I think something
Yep.
looks, amiss over here.
Yep.
And for someone to say, okay, let's go ahead and fix that because that's not correct.
Well, did you hear about Virginia?
Yeah. Supreme
So
Court, telling you.
Supreme Court stepped in and stopped the 1,600 plus ineligible voters from being added back in the rolls. The Justice
Right.
Department tried to stop it, so they would be added back onto the rolls. Ineligible people, confirmed ineligible
Yeah.
non-citizens,
Who,
whatever the
who,
case may be, convicted felons, whatever the reason was,
right.
and it went to the Supreme Court, and justices came back today and said, nope, you need to take them off the roll or leave them off the roll. So we had a win there. Not a big number, but it sets a precedent that other states
Well,
will follow, hopefully, suit and clean up their act, like you said.
right.
And they've been doing it. But when you are trying to do the right thing, and the DOJ is coming in and saying, "No, no, you can't do that. Now everybody's got a right to vote." Yeah, well, that's no. It's like fighting a flood by walking against the water uphill. So that was
Oh, yeah,
very
it's
good, very, big
impossible.
win. Talked about it quite a
Yeah.
bit today.
Big win. It sets the standard, like you said, but think about in 2020 how close these states were decided by sometimes less than 10,000 votes in a lot of them, in a lot of counties. And so
Yep.
that 1,600 vote count could have been the difference between a county being red or a county being blue, and that is a huge deal.
Yep.
So
Get
I
out and vote, guys. Don't
yes,
assume your
please,
vote
please
doesn't
vote.
count or doesn't matter, because this year it does.
Yes.
But
And you are not garbage if you are a supporter of Donald J. Trump. You are
yeah,
absolutely not garbage. You are a patriot of the United States of America,
yep.
and
Don't let
there's
anybody
nothing
tell you
wrong about
otherwise.
that.
And the media is going to try to tell you you are the stupid one, and there's no voter that's stupid. Again, I keep going
No.
back to Dr. Phil. I love the way the presentation he gave the other night in Madison Square Garden.
Hmm.
He said, whether you vote my way or not, do I care? Hey, I'd like to have you vote my way, sure, but at least you voted. Now you got room to talk.
Right.
But you don't need to be calling people names and derogatory things, and mudslinging is something that we all know happens in politics, but all it does is make your case even worse for you. And that's what's going on with the Democrats right now. they are paying the price for all the mudslinging. That's part of it, but that's I think a large part of some of this some of these numbers swinging the way they are. So, but we're just coming up. We just came across an hour, Ange. What you got? I want to make sure you get across the items you wanted to hit on before we take a wrap on this.
Let me see. Okay, so I did want to touch on Michigan and Wisconsin real quick, just before we close out. Just in the early voting, this is pretty big because these two states are typically a lot of mail-in voters. Not such a big turnout on election day, but still turnout on election day. And typically, when you have the blue wall, or the wall as they call it, and these are two that are part of that. But at this point, you're going to see the Democrats come out in a big lead percentage for early voting, and we are not. It's starting to turn the other way, and the Democrats, well, percentage-wise, they went down a point. Republicans went up a percentage point in both states. So you're starting to see that shift of there is a consequence for anything that comes out of your mouth. As a person of power, as a person of great influence, as a person who is leading an entire country, or with the possibility of doing so. And so we are starting to see the consequences of people tuning in, and it's shoved into everybody's face anyway, this close to the election. So you're seeing all the ads. If you're on social media, it's just, that's all there is. There is no like funny dog memes. It's literally just Trump, Biden, and Harris. Walz is like not even a factor really at this point. He's like minute. So congratulations, but people are starting to, they're starting to see what's happening more so and starting to tune in, because there are a lot of people who really just don't give a crap the entire election season up until the week of the election, and then they decide in that short time frame who they're going to select, because they know the pressure is on. We're really going to see the guts of this campaign now versus 6 months ago, which is a good strategy, but please do your homework regardless. But we're starting to see that turn change. And I really do think, with as much as Trump has been in both of these swing states in the last couple of weeks, I do expect that everything that we're seeing in the predictions is going to be correct, and he's going to take all three. He's going to take Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. I really do feel that there is, if people do get out and vote, we have the potential. It's there.
Yeah, I mean, each of those states, I'd said earlier, too, that they're well under a half a point when you look at real politics, just looking purely at that. And that, like you said, it's about a point swing, but it puts the Trump camp about a half a point up in each of the states, well within the margin of error, but also we have to look at the Trump margin of error and the underperforming Trump underperforming Trump polling that is taking place also. So, I mean, these are all unknowns that we can't calculate. It's just nobody has any idea.
No, and like I said before too, this is also, they're going off of, in these early percentages before election day, they're really going on how you have voted in the past. Right. So it's not to say that we're seeing they have someone as a registered Democrat, but they're not voting Democrat this time around. So once we get to election day and these numbers start being revealed, I think it's going to shoot up a lot higher than it's been now. I think it's a low ball right now, and we're really going to start to see the guts of it come election night when they start getting in those actual counts. So it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm kind of worried about the days after, but I think we're going to be okay if we all stick together and commit to getting through this out on the other side. I think we're going to be okay as a society. We just have to commit to that.
Just remember, the transfer of power has been set up for a reason the way it is. We have accomplished this for well over 200 years. We're all Americans,
Right.
and everyone needs to just take a deep breath, let this roll, let the chips fall. We know where we think it's heading, and we feel confident in where it's heading. But like you said, Ange, we won't know until that night. What part of that night we don't know. We can conjecture it'll be an early night, but again, I don't want to. I'm not going to jinx this thing and get too ahead of the.
No,
what do they-
no
what do they call it?
predictions.
Don't get ahead of your skis or something is how they put it. So, where as a recap, where we look right now, the 7 swing states are still swinging.
Still swinging.
By how much? Depends who you talk to. The numbers are as tight as they can possibly be, but with the other factors that come into play, aside from the polling, the expectation in those swing states is that they're all swinging towards the red side of the map. But all that is yet to be seen and yet to be played out in the
Right.
next 6 days. And we'll come to a culmination on Tuesday when at some point in time we get the word. And we will be here in some shape or fashion to discuss that and kind of go over what happened. But
Oh,
the
make
numbers-
sure if you, I don't know if you can share that video I sent you of Trump in the garbage truck.
I don't know if I can bring it up.
Or we could just do it after, because I know that's probably easier.
Hold on a second.
I just want everybody to see it. It's gold. It's such gold. This man has no give a F, for lack of a better word. He just does it. He's like, oh, you want to call us that? Oh, that's cute. Like, I'm just going to do it anyway.
Let me see if I can.
It's all over X, so if you don't check it out here, or if you just want to watch it on repeat because it's so funny, you just can't get enough of it.
Indian people are not garbage. How do you like my garbage stuff? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden. Any questions?
Cutthroat.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is I'll take a hit on the sound of the music for that one.
That was a better video than what I had. Oh man,
Yeah.
I was digging that.
Yeah, I will. The music is awesome, but there will definitely be a YouTube hit on that one.
Well,
I'm gonna have to deal with that.
it's a
But,
good time. It's a good time. guys.
It's all meant in good time. That's right.
But here's
So,
the thing. I respect what he did, and he really, if you're not from upstate, okay, if you are not familiar with New Yorkers in any capacity, whether it be in the city or in the mountains or anywhere in between, that is how New Yorkers talk to you when they are disgruntled with you. So when he says, "You got any questions?" like that's some stuff I would catch myself saying if I was
Well,
a little
and
upset.
when he said, "Do you have any questions?" what that translates to in Yankee is, "I'm done talking, and so are you."
Right. This is my
He
mic
wasn't
drop.
asking-
We're done.
We're done. We're finished now. You have any
Right.
questions? You better not have any
loved
questions.
it. I loved it. The whole bit was just gold. I mean, how they put that together that fast, too. I mean, I got to give credit for
yeah.
the team because they got the whole truck with the sticker on. They got him hooked up with the vest. I mean, it was incredible. I'm like,
Oh,
okay. He's
Talk
not
about a good-
deterred one bit. There is nothing that is going to shake this man. If you
Yeah.
think after getting shot in the head, he's going to get upset about you calling everybody that supports him garbage, he is upset about it, don't get me wrong. But he's
No.
also going to turn it
No.
around and be like, okay, now I'm going to get more views and I'm going to get more people looking at this saying, wow, that's crazy on their part. Maybe we should give a look at Trump. Use it to your advantage. I think it was
Thanks.
genius, and I
Yeah,
just
his
love
people
it.
are saying thanks for putting us in the headlines a little bit more. We appreciate the free
Exactly.
airtime.
And they didn't even have to do anything or say anything. He's just like,
Nope.
okay, cool.
But
I
there we
love it.
go.
I love it. I love that he can
Absolutely.
actually, he's serious when he needs to be, but he also understands where there is an opportunity to make light or make a, fun, not take it as seriously of what they're saying. I think that's just, you don't see a lot of that anymore. And I think that's
Oh,
a true
yeah.
testament to the fact that, like you said, Dad, he is not a politician. He's a businessman. He has a good time. He's not, I don't think he's evil. And from all the things that I've followed and seen and watched, take with that what you will. But that is just, you don't see something like that every day. It's great.
Not at all. Not at all. I was trying to bring a different version of that up, but I'll have to catch that later.
Oh,
But anyway,
that's all I
I
got.
think that's going to be it for tonight. We just wanted to kind of give the update that things are still in flux. We're moving towards what we believe is a very good result, but depending on who you talk to or who you listen to, the numbers are still right there in a small box. I believe, Angie believes, we all believe, and a lot of people out there on the street believe that these numbers are not as close as one would believe them to be. But that will all be made clear on Tuesday. So we'll just leave you with that. We're going to try to probably get one more episode in before Tuesday night. We'll just see what the news looks like and what the numbers look like. We'll keep crunching the numbers and the details, and we'll be back with that information, and hopefully that will lead us up to the big event. But we can't say
Yeah.
enough, guys. You got to get out there and vote. We keep saying it.
Yes,
As
please
Elon
go vote.
says, go vote. If you haven't voted yet, vote. If you know somebody that's registered and they're on the fence whether to vote, you take them there. Like I said, people need a ride to the polls around here. Somebody needs to call me because I will take you to the polls. There is no excuse not to go. This is an important election. This is, don't want to, like, you can't understate this. You just can't. Or you can't
No.
overstate it, I mean. It is that important. And for those individuals that will be voting maybe for the first time and this will be their election, you picked one that will shape the future of this country. So don't
Right.
ignore the opportunity. So
Yes. Stand up for what you believe in and vote for it.
Yep, got to fight for your right to party.
Right. You wanna even be able to afford a party? I highly suggest you vote Trump. Okay.
You want to be able to afford a beer if that if we
Right.
don't change the course of this country right now. But with that said, I think what we're going to do is we're going to lock this down for the night. I want to thank you all for coming out and listening to us again. Even with the technical issues, it was a great show, and like I said, we're just here to give you the kind of the nutshell overview, high flyover, and we hope you enjoyed that. We thank you guys for coming out again. Thank you to the subscribers. Appreciate every one of you guys. Please leave comments. Do all them cool things. If
Like,
you're not a
do all
subscriber,
hit the buttons.
hit the buttons. All them buttons. But like us, share the videos, all that. You can't imagine how much that matters. Every like, every share, every minute of watch time affects how far we can get out, how far YouTube will present us out there in the feeds, and get more people to come in that will want to hear what we have to say and utilize that to make their decision. And then after the election, the follow-up as to where it's all going. So please do all those cool things. Thanks again to Madness Productions. Thanks again for Real Politics, Real Polling, for Real Clear Polling, for providing all that data that we all try to digest and enjoy. Have to thank Rasmussen because that's my favorite.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh. That
That's
one
my
for
favorite.
sure.
And we appreciate all that. So you guys have a great evening. we thank you for coming out, and we will see you here again in the next 2 or 3 days, probably a couple days before the election, depending on how things start to shake out. But you have a
Right.
good evening. We appreciate all of you. And Ange,
God bless America. God bless Donald J. Trump. And we'll see you guys
God
next
bless
time.
America. God bless Donald J. Trump. Have a good evening, guys. Thank you for everything.